have some consumer watch group on our dinners, and we're out there making false claims. We do not have to make a false claim on our cookware. Our cookware stands alone. Our cookware speaks for itself. So we don't have to do that, okay? I don't care what market you're in, that we don't have to embellish anything. Our cookware is, as you know, is the very best in the entire universe, and we don't have to lie, we don't have to exaggerate, and we don't have, and you can get on the internet and find anything you want to on anything. Stay away from it. If you've got some facts, let the people at the dinners tell you what they know about it. But I'm going to just kind of go through this real fast with you, a little bit about cookware. And we're going to start off, there's no, when I start off at my dinner in the pot test, now what I'm going to do here is not exactly what I do completely at a dinner, because there's a lot of detail, but I want to give you some product knowledge that I know about each one of these pans. And the first pan I want to hold up is the Larry Dickman pan. This is the old black spider. Larry was crucial in developing this pan. 120 some years ago, it's a cast iron pan, and Larry's very proud of this accomplishment. At the time, it was a cutting edge technology. But this is a cast iron pan. And this is what they call the old black spider. This is a great heat conductor. We know it's a good heat conductor. When the pan gets hot, guess what else gets hot? The handle, okay? Even heating. Now, a welder told me that if you look at, or take a magnifying glass and look down in that pan, the cast iron pan, it's very porous, like the moon's surface. And those pores actually turn and weave inside that pan. So when you get a brand new cast iron pan, what do you got to do to it before you use it? You got to use what? Oil. Now, a couple things I want you to remember, and some of you guys may remember this. Grease gives men heart attacks and gives women hip attacks. And we don't want that, right? Okay, so we got to use grease in this pan, and what happens is when that pan's cold, the pores are closed. When you open it up, when you heat it up, they open up and allows whatever you're cooking into it to lubricate those channels inside that pan. So when it gets cold, it traps that oil and grease and muck in there. So the next time you cook in it, it actually regurgitates your old food back into your good clean food. Now we know that because when you cook fish in it on Friday nights, Sunday morning, what does the eggs taste like? I love fishy eggs, don't you? Okay, all right. So it's a good heat, and it's a filthy pan. It's a filthy pan because you can you pour a little bit of water in there and take a paper towel and wipe it out. But it gets that good. Here in Texas, a lot of Texans like these old cast iron skillets because they do biscuits and campfires and stuff like that. They're cornbread and chicken fried steak. But what happens is that pan absorbs everything you cook in. I had a dinner one night and I had 4 couples. They'd all been married 50 years apiece. 200 years of cooking. And old Doc Henson's wife said, now don't speak bad about that black spider because my great-grandmother gave me that pan. And she said, every time I use it, I can still smell her cooking. and old Doc Henson says, honey, if we're still smelling that crap, we'll probably eat 80-year-old food. It's horrible, okay? So, good heat conductor, but we don't want this because grease gives men heart attacks and women what? Okay, all right. So that's the cast iron skillet. Then they came out with, oh, this is good stuff here, man. Aluminum, good heat conductor. Matter of fact, they used to make aluminum waterless cookware, and when you bought a brand new set of this stuff, it was nice and shiny like Salamaster. But the first time you hit it with heat, it would discolor. Now you can't see this, but aluminum, we know the aluminum, the acids and the alkalines in your foods actually start attacking that surface. Okay, so after a while they'll start getting dark pits in there. Now let me ask you something. If you had a big hole in your backyard, you would call it a pit. And if you put garbage in it, it would be called a what? A garbage pit. Well, right here, there's little tiny garbage pits in there. Okay? Now what you can do is you can heat that up and take your little toothpick and pick each one of those out of there, see? Now, I had a lady tell me, ask me one night, now, if I don't get Salamaster, what's your best recommendation? I said, the best recommendation for me to give to you is go ahead and cook your food in there, let the food stay in there, and then the next time you cook, cook on the old food. So you got a little barrier between the metal and the food. Now, I don't know all the health hazards of this. I know that I just don't want my family getting out of this. We could have 10 doctors in here and ask them what their opinion was of what kind of diseases aluminum causes, and you'd have 10 different answers. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We don't want to make false accusations, but it's just a dirty, filthy metal, and you got to use water, and you got to use what? Okay. Oil gives men
heart attack.
And women
hip attack.
Okay. All right. So they came out. They came out with the glass cookware, and what? Oh, I don't like to advertise for those people. I don't name brands. That's not good. Okay. But what happened was they came out with glass cookware, and they had all different kind of variations. This pan right here, this is a glass pan, a ceramic with a metal inside, and you know why they put that metal ring around there? So when you stir your food, you tap your spoon on there, so it's not chipping glass down into your food. That's exactly, and it makes it finish soft. But that's what happens. That little stainless steel rim around there keeps it from chipping glass down into your food. And sometimes you see big globs of it missing out of there. I just don't know how much you got to eat of that stuff to meet your mandatory daily allowance of glass. And then we wonder why we have stomach problems. Okay, so. Anyway, so then they got kind of wise. They said, this aluminum stuff, it sticks. So we're going to put a non-stick in there. Silverstone, Teflon, whatever it is. It's a wonderful surface. Food doesn't stick, and neither does the Teflon. It comes out, and I don't care how careful you are. You can use a cotton spatula in there. It's coming out. Okay? But, I had a lady on a dinner one night, and she said, you know what, that kind of makes sense. Because I'm very, very careful just using wood instruments in mine, and just, and then if there's a scratch in there, I know my husband's been in it, and using metal. But she said, I was making a macaroni and cheese. And she says, for my kids, and I noticed that first batch of macaroni and cheese had black specks in it. She said, well, man, I thought it was in the cheese sauce. So I dumped it back out, made another batch, and it was worse. And she found out that it was coming out of the pan. She said, I cannot believe that we're eating that pan. And guys, I don't know if that's healthy or not, but do you want your kids and family eating out of that? No. Because guess what else you got to do with this? You got to use water, and you got to use oil. And oil gives men heart attacks. And women catching on. Okay. All right. And then this is kind of an unusual deal here. This is a metal pan, and this isn't very good because it sticks and it burns. And you got to use water, and you got to use, and then you got a heart attack. Yeah. Okay. All right. Then the cookware industry decided, hey, we're going to doctor up our. Let me ask you a question. We're in Texas. We have rattlesnakes here. Matter of fact, I think they caught 2 in the lobby last night. Okay. There was 2 guys from another cookware company. Okay. So we all agree that rattlesnakes are dangerous, right? Okay. So if we took that rattlesnake and painted it red, would it be any less dangerous? No. Well, what the cookware industry did, they painted the rattlesnake. Okay? And they doctored up with this nice little fancy handle on there and gave it a nice French name, and they got these rivets running through here, and they sprayed it with a little Teflon, and this pan's here about $95. And guess what? You got to use water, you got to use and guess what else you got to do? The handle breaks, you got to do what? Buy another. Boy, what a great business that is, okay? So what happens is that when the Teflon starts coming off, baking off, wearing off, then we're cooking right again back on aluminum, which we don't know if it's good or bad for us, but I know that I don't want my family cooking with it, okay? So, and then we got other variations. This right here, I love this man. Now, walked in a lady's house and my husband's got a bad stomach problem. What do you think I should do? And I said, well, I don't know. When I first started, you could go to Kmart and buy spray-in Teflon. So you could spray it back in there so you need it again. We wonder why Jeff Nelson's bald. Jeff ate off aluminum back in his early teens, and that's where, okay, that's a Jeff Nelson fan, okay? All right. So they came out, then they came out with, oh, isn't that pretty? Isn't that nice curvature on there, okay? You know, that probably was a bumper sometime a while back, or, okay? Well, what they've done, they thought, well, you know, this aluminum thing, this Teflon thing, we got to start getting into stainless. You know, stainless is good. So they come out with these pans. They got a big old slab bottom. You know why they put that slab on there? I just found out. Because they know if you stir it enough, you got to wear a hole in it. So they already capped it. Okay? Right? Makes sense? So you'll never wear that out by stirring it. Okay. But they put this cap on there, and you know, it's a very uneven heat conductor, but people are convinced that, hey, stainless steel, we need to cook off of stainless steel. But guess what you got to do with this? You got to use water, you got to use oil. And oil gives? Okay, all right. So, now, let's see if I'm forgetting anybody here now. Now, this is the new California green pan. If California catches a cold or sneezes, Texas catches a cold. California sets the stage for every goofy thing out there, okay? I love you too, okay? This is as seen on TV. Now, you probably have seen, they've sold millions of these pans. This is Jeff Regal told me that's actually not a new technology. It's glass. It's metal. And what happens is this thing is absolutely horrible. If you ever did a soda test, it'll throw your pantyhose. It is horrible. But it chips and it sticks, and you got to season it. But they doctored up their rattlesnake again. You know, and us. Oh, I like that. I think I'll take that. That looks good. Okay. So all of a sudden, you know, we just go in the, people go in the stores. We used to, all of us have done that. That looks nice. That looks nice. We don't actually understand why we should get it other than it looks nice. Okay. So anyway, so then there's cookware out there that say we're almost like salamanders. You heard it. I always tell them, you like almost fresh eggs? I'm telling you, I like fresh eggs. And I don't like to invest in something that is almost like something. Okay? You know, the original, the copies are never like the original. And that's why I like our company so much. Dadgum, yes, it's expensive. But so is your family. So is the health of your family. I don't care if this cookware is $10,000 a pan. If it saves one heart attack, it would pay for itself, right? So they got this little deal here, and they got a whistle. They got a little whistle in there. It whistles at you, okay? So I got to thinking, okay, when a teapot's whistling, the water's boiling. So if that pan's whistling, then yeah, it's boiling. So I thought, well, that's not right. And then there's cookware out there that's got lids that when they rattle, you turn them down. Well, you know, that's okay, but every lid's a different weight. Our cookware is engineered and calibrated by Joe Swanson. But the little valve, our valve weighs the same on every pan. So we get an accurate temperature control. So when the valve rings, you turn it